No winter lasts forever, but every spring is sure to follow. Harl Borland. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever judged someone? Or perhaps have you ever judged yourself? You live in a world where almost everything is just a few clicks away. And because of this, you're always in a rush to complete tasks in record time. And on top of that, nowadays, people expect everything to be perfect all the time. And so much so that even minor mistakes can leave you suffering. Judgment happens. You've done it before, you've been there before, and you've probably tried to ignore it. Tried to not acknowledge the fact that what you're doing isn't good enough. A common mistake is that most people don't manage it or try to improve it. It's something you should remind yourself of whenever you feel compelled to criticize another person's action or decision, even your own. The majority of the time, judgments are based on what you appear to notice, the things that can only be seen from the outside. Here's a story that will remind you to slow down and appreciate the lessons you learn from life's unexpected setbacks. Make sure to stick to the end of today's video, and believe me, they often lead to something that's even better than what you imagine, to untapping your potential. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories, motivational figures, comeback stories, and public speaking tips that will inspire you to take action. Once upon a time, there was a father with 4 young sons. They were all brilliant and very dedicated. But the father noticed that they were too quick to judge things and even people. Eager for change, he wanted to teach each of them a lesson. So one day he decided to send each of them on a separate journey. "My dear sons," he said, "I have a request for all of you." The father explained that they had to view and observe a distant pear tree, one after the other. Unbeknownst to them, he assigned each son to travel on a different season. The eldest son paid a visit to the tree in the winter, the second son in the spring, the third in the summer, and the youngest son in the fall. After a year, they had all returned from their trip. The father gathered his children once more over dinner and asked about what they had witnessed and observed. "I saw an ugly and twisted pear tree," the eldest son remarked. "There was nothing great about it, Dad, and the tree looked like it was about to wither away." The son who went into spring disagreed completely. No, you got it all wrong. That can't be true. The pear tree I saw had a lot of green buds on its branches. It was full of hope and promise." The third son, who had traveled in the summer, agreed and said, "Brother is correct, but the pear tree I saw already had lovely blossoms that looked and smelled divine. It was the most graceful thing I've seen in my life." Finally, the fourth and last son, who made the journey in the fall, was overjoyed to tell everyone what he had seen. "You've got it all wrong. The pear tree I saw was not ugly, nor did it have green buds or even blossoms. The tree I saw was ripe and filled with fruit. Its pears were the sweetest and most delicious I'd ever eaten. Nothing had so much life and fulfillment as this tree." After each son had spoken, the father went on to say, "My sons, you are all correct." Shocked and confused, they all looked at their dad for an explanation. Each of you had only witnessed one season in the life of the pear tree. That's why you all had different descriptions of what it looked like. He went on, "But let me ask you, should you ever judge a tree by its season?" The sons just looked at each other. It is foolish and impossible to make wise and fair judgments in this manner, just as it is in your life right now. The essence of anything, whether a tree or a person, can only be measured as a whole, and only at the end, when all has been well and done. Making a negative decision in the winter means missing out on the promise of spring, the beauty of summer, and the delicious fruit of fall. The 4 sons learned a valuable lesson that day, and more importantly, that judging a person does not define who they are. It defines who you are. You perceive reality in a different way because that is how your mind works. You make judgments based on your own previous experiences, opinions, values, and personal traits. These shortcuts are useful in everyday situations. However, in some cases, they can lead to errors and mistakes. Not everyone has the same story as you do. Your chapter 1 is not the same as someone's chapter 10. What you think is happening and what actually is can be quite different. It's important to try to give people the benefit of the doubt because things aren't always what they seem. You don't always have all the facts. Thinking is difficult. That is why most people judge. You're always told to strike while the iron is hot. But you must judge people to improve them, not to humiliate them. Realize that some of the best things in life are always worth the effort and wait. A wise person learns to be less judgmental. Learn not to judge yourself, your life, or other people based on a single mistake or difficult period. Refuse to let the pain of one season ruin your joy of the next. Don't judge your life based on one difficult season. Instead, learn to endure the difficult times, and better times will come. Learn how to deal with the winter. And when you learn to deal with difficulty, you learn to deal with the demands of hardships. Live simply, love generously, deeply care for others, and speak kindly. Happiness maintains your sweetness. Trials make you stronger. Sorrows keep you alive. Failures serve to keep you humble. Success will propel you forward. And patience will get you where you need to go. Because each has its own season. And just as Robert Louis Stevenson once said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing, commenting below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest updates. Soon you will be on your way to feeling inspired.